All right, welcome to assignment 3. The objectives for this assignment will be looking at Google Forms, using Google Forms to create a survey, using Google Forms to create a quiz, identifying the file where form answers can be found, using Flubaroo to grade a quiz, and manipulating data from a survey or a quiz. We're also going to look at Gmail and using data from a form to create a contact list, using tasks as a to-do list that's linked to your email, and finally Google Calendar, creating recurring events in your calendar, sharing your calendar with others, linking your calendar to tasks, determining notification settings for your events, and set up your calendar to email your daily agenda. Alright, so let's first go to Google Forms, and what we do for that is you go to your Google Drive and you're just going to say New, and you're going to go to Google Forms. Alright, so the default, if this is a form that is only going to be used by TPS people, and you want to make sure that it really is a TPS person to the best of your ability, you can require a TPS login. You can have it collect their username. You can also have them show progress at the bottom so they know how far they've gone. Only allow one response per person, and shuffle the question order. That's good for giving quizzes. So that is your preference. I would say if you're giving this to younger kids, you might not want to have this on because that means they have to be logged in to their Google account, and that takes up a lot more time. Okay. The first thing is the title of your form. So we're just going to do, we'll do something like favorite pet survey. Okay, that's going to be our form. Your first question, and I've learned this through experience, always do a first name, make it a text box, and make it a required question. And then I can either say done or add item, or if you look over here, there's a thing that says duplicate. So I'll say duplicate, and I'll change first name to last name, and they're all set. Now I'm going to say done, and these are required questions. It won't let them go on. Now I'm going to add an item, and I can just click add item, or if I hit the drop down menu, I can decide what kind of item I want to have. So I'm just going to say multiple choice. So what is your favorite pet animal? Okay, and you can have dog, cat, turtle, snake, gross, guinea pig. Okay. Alright, so we can make that a required question. It's something that has to be done. Okay, and I'm going to say done. I'm going to show you a couple other cool things. I like the scale. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being gross and 5 being cool, how would you rate snakes? So 1 is gross, 5 is cool. We'll make this a required question. We'll say done. We can add other items. You can have paragraph text. They can put a lot of stuff in there. Check boxes. They can have multiple things in there. Okay. What types of pets do you have? And you can say check all that apply. You can say dog, cat, turtle, snake, guinea pig. Alright, good enough. We'll make that and we'll say none. Okay, done. So anyway, and let's say that you come across a question that you decide you don't want on your thing. You just open up the question there and you hit the trash can and you delete it. Okay, so now we've got several questions there for our survey. The confirmation page, the default is your response has been recorded. You can change that to, thanks for taking our pet survey. Okay, you can have them do another response or take that off. These are, again, your options. Okay, so right now we have 1, 2, 3 different, we have 5 different questions on here, first name, last name, and then 3 with the pets. We can look at what type of theme we want. We can change the theme. So right now it's the blank, the basic one. You can just, all you have to do is click on these over to the right. Okay, it changes the font, and you can customize any of these as well. Got the farm. There's a really fun one with animals on bikes that I enjoy. Okay, there we go. All right. Then you can view the live form. Okay, and this is what the form would look like, and it's going to open up a new tab. And you can go ahead and take the survey here. I like dogs. Snakes are totally gross. And we have a dog and we have a cat. And I'm going to say submit. Okay. I'm going to close that out. I can also send this form. If you look in the top right corner here, send the form. And I can send it to a group of people, okay? Or I can add a collaborator. I can have somebody work on the form with me and add their own questions. You only want to do that if you're really sure that that's somebody you want to work with. So if I wanted to send this to my sister, okay, I just start typing her name in, okay? I'm going to say Chris, disregard this. Okay, and I'm going to say send. Okay, but as you can see, that's probably going to take a lot of time. And that's why I like to just embed forms on my website. So if you take the Google Sites Made Easy course, teach you how to do that there. So I've already given a response. So you can look at your responses from the form. You go to View Responses up here. Okay. First name, last name, dog, snakes are gross, what type of pets do you have? Okay. Or another way you can look at it is in my drive, I'm going to go to my recent tab because I know that that's the last thing I did. I have my favorite pet survey here, and then I have a separate document, a Google Sheets document with the responses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this survey a couple more times. And I'm just going to put in some, view live form. I'm going to take it a couple more times. I'm going to just lie on behalf of my husband here. He doesn't like cats that much, so, and we have a dog and a cat. Submit. Okay, and I'm going to do another one. I'm going to use my sister. And snakes are gross. She has a dog, and that's it. Okay. All right. So what I'm trying to do is just get some responses so I can mess with the data. Okay. So that's one way we can use forms to do a survey. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to do a form, how to make a form for a quiz. Okay. So I'm going to close out some of these extra tabs here. So in my current form, my favorite pet survey, I can go File, I can say New Form here, or I can do that from my Google Drive. It doesn't matter, so I'm just going to say New Form. And if this is a quiz that you really just want TPS kids to be in, that's when I would put on these, require the login, automatically collect their username, and allow only one response per person. That's when I would check those on. Okay, so we can call this Basic Math Skills Quiz. Okay, so we're going to just always, always, always first name, and we're going to make this text, and it's required. I'm going to duplicate it. Last name, done. So always get those out of the way first. So now I'm just going to add, you can do multiple choice, you can do check boxes, you can do choose from a list. Multiple choice I think makes the most sense for kids. So what is 4 times 7? Okay, so 28, 14, 35. You can add more if you want. It's a required question. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate this. What is 7 times 9? 28, 63, 27. Okay, I'm going to duplicate it again. So what is the square root of 144? 11, 22, or 12. Okay, I'm going to say done. All right. I can leave the theme as it is, or I can change the theme if I want to, make it something nice and fun. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to view this live form, and I'm going to take it a few times because I'm going to show you a cool add-on called Flubaroo that allows you to grade quizzes that are made with Google Forms. So I'm going to go to View Live Form, and I'm just going to put in, as a teacher, you should take the form first, oops, and you should give the correct answers. Now let's say you give it to the kids before you actually take the quiz. Oops, I forgot to click off Submit Another Response. That's no problem. I'll go back and change that in a minute. But I'm going to do these. Abby, McDowell, and 28, 27. I'm going to give her a couple of wrong answers. She'd be furious. Okay. Alex, McDowell, 28, 28, 12. Okay. And I have very smart pets who are also going to take this quiz. Well, not so smart because Oreo got that wrong. Submit. Okay, so another response. Louis. Louis going to be a genius here. Okay, so that's probably enough. Okay. So I've got my basic math skills quiz. Remember I had, if I want to make some changes, I go back into edit question mode. And I'm not going to let them submit another response because if it's a quiz, we just want them to take it once. So now I'm going to view my responses. And a couple ways I can do that is I can just close out of the survey here. I can go to my Google Drive. I can hit my Recent tab, and I've got my basic math skills quiz and my responses. So I'm going to open those up. Okay. So a quiz or a survey or a quiz on Google Forms is only good if you can do something with the data. And here's where you can do something with the data. Under Add-ons, and this is in the responses sheet, okay, there is an add-on called Flubaroo. If you don't have Flubaroo, what you can do, and I'm going to turn this off really quick just so you can kind of see what it looks like when you get the add-on. I'm going to go to Add-ons. I'm going to say Get Add-ons. And Flubaroo should be one that shows up pretty quickly. If it doesn't, it's no big deal. Okay, I don't see it anywhere, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in FLU, Flubaroo. Okay, and it's free. And it's going to ask for all these permissions, and that's fine. Okay. So now Flubaroo is on there. Okay, so add-ons. Now I've got Flubaroo. And what I'm going to tell it to do is I'm going to tell it to grade the assignment. So after all the kids have taken it, and you can even do this like after half the kids have taken it and do it later. All right, it gives you these options. The first name and last name, those are just identifiers. Okay, let's say you have a question on there that you don't even, it's a bad question, or it's just for informational purposes and the kids don't really, it doesn't matter what they get on it. Or if one question is harder than others and you want to make it worth more points, you get to decide. So I'm going to say continue, because that's set up the way I want it to. And then you tell it which response should be the answer key. Well, I'm going to make it mine, okay? And it'll pull up all the responses here that you have so far. So if you don't take it before the kids do, it's okay. You just find your name in there. And continue. And then it's grading your assignment. And it's going to take just a moment. Okay. And it's gathering data for me. Okay. All right. So what this tells me, it tells me how each of my students did. Abby only got 33, Alex got 66, Louie got 100%, Oreo got 66%, okay? It tells me that 75% of the kids got the 4 times 7 correct, only 50% got 7 times 9, and 75% got square root of 144. Okay, so it gives me all kinds of data. Here's where it gets kind of cool, because kids like to know how they did. So what I can do, and this is where you actually need them to submit their email addresses into the, oh, what is it called? Into the form. Okay, so when it collects their username, if you say email grades, okay, and it'll ask you which of these is the email question, okay, you can include the list of questions and their scores and the answer key, okay, and I don't have an email address in this particular one. That was not very smart of me to set it up that way. But anyway, if they put their email address in, you hit continue and they get a nice email, they get an answer key, they get the right answer as well as what they put themselves. So I'm going to close that, and then the kids know how they did on that. So I would wait on that until you're all done with all of your grading. Okay, so that's using Flubaroo to grade a quiz. Now I'm going to show you how to manipulate some of the data that you get from a survey. So back in the spring, I did a survey about professional development. Okay, and I got all of this data from our staff. Okay, like who was interested in project-based learning, flipped classrooms, Google applications, and so on. Now, at the bottom of my response sheet, my first tab is Form Responses 1, and then let me delete these sheets really quick here. I'm just going to delete these at the top, yep, because I want you to see exactly how I made this. So Form Responses 1 is my first thing. I don't want to make any changes to this particular data set. Okay, but what I want to do is I want to be able to manipulate it. So I click on that little arrow where it says Form Responses 1 and I say duplicate. And I can rename it if I want to, I don't have to. But now what I have is I have all the data and I have it in a format that I can mess around with it. So first of all, for whatever reason, when I was building the form, I added their username in later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag that over so my username goes first. Okay. I'm also going to get rid of this timestamp. I'm going to delete that column because I don't really care about that. Now let's say I'm interested in learning, who's really interested in project-based learning. I've also got all these extra rows here I don't need, so I'm going to highlight those rows. I'm going to go to Edit. I'm going to delete those rows. Okay, so it starts at the top. Okay, so one of the things was project-based learning. And let's say I want to know who is interested in project-based learning. So I'm going to click in the top left corner here, okay, and I'm going to go to Data, and I'm going to determine the sort range. It does have a header row, and what I'm interested in is who is interested in project-based learning. And I'm going to have it go in inverted alphabetical order because Y comes before N, and then I'm going to have it go by their username. And I'm going to say sort. And now what's going to happen is all the people who are interested in project-based learning, I've got them right here. Okay? Now keep that in mind. I'm going to keep this data open for something later on in the class. These people were not interested in it, and these people were my maybes. Okay? So that's how you manipulate data. You can, I would always create a new sheet at the bottom, so if you mess anything up, if you accidentally delete something, you're not working with your original data. Okay? Let's say now I want to know, okay, well, who's interested in flipped classrooms? So I go Data, Sort Range, it has a header row. I just want to know who's interested in flipping the classroom. I'm going to then sort it by their username, and I'm going to make that flipped classroom inverted alphabetical order. I'm going to say sort, okay, and these are my people who are interested in flipped classrooms. Okay, I can also just drag this column, whoops, somehow. Once I get that Mickey Mouse hand in front of there, now I can see flipped classrooms right next to the names. Okay. So that's manipulating data from a survey or a quiz. All right. Now, the next thing I was going to show you was with Gmail, how to use data from a form to create a contact list or a group. Okay? So let's say I want to create a project-based learning group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Data, Sort Range. I want to find all my project-based learning people, add another sort column. Okay. All right, and I'm going to get my Mickey Mouse hand. I'm going to move project-based learning right next to it. Now, this is where it's really important to pay attention. Okay, I'm going to grab this data here. I'm going to highlight those people who said yes. I'm going to say Edit, Copy, and I'm going to make a new sheet at the bottom. And I'm going to explain why I'm doing this in a minute. Okay, so this username is their email, so I'm going to rename it email. And I'm going to insert some columns to the left. When you want to collect people's names for email addresses purposes, you want it to be their first name, their last name, and then their email address. Okay, so I'm going to go through these really quick. Normally in the survey, I would have asked for their first and last name in the survey. And I'm just going to do a few of these so you guys can see how this works. And one more. Okay, and these people, I'm just going to delete these for right now. Okay, so I've got, let's say I have these 6 people who I know are interested in project-based learning. I've got their first name, I've got their last name, I've got their email. And a really easy way to have collected this information in the first place would have just been to do a form. And you just call it, this is the project-based learning interest form. Okay, and you would have done first name, text, make it required. I would have collected their username automatically. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to do last name. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to put email address, just in case, for whatever reason, they didn't get signed in. Okay? This is nice for parents, like an open house. If you want parents to sign in, you have a little laptop, you just put first name, last name, email address, and let them type in anything else, and then you can click off those requirements. And then I would embed this form in a place that was easy for people to get to. Okay, so pretend they took that, they put in their first name, their last name, and their email address. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this sheet as comma-separated values. So I'm going to go to File, Download as, comma-separated values. And you're going to see it download here, okay, TMS PD survey responses.csv.